When blood cannot clot properly, there is excessive bleeding, and this medical condition is known as hemophilia. On the occasion of World Hemophilia Day, which falls in the month of April, MediCircle is conducting an exclusive series featuring eminent hematologists to spread awareness about this bleeding disorder. Hi, this is Amrita Priya, and you are watching MediCircle. Today, we have Dr. Ankit Rayani in our show. Dr. Ankit Rayani is consultant hematology and bone marrow transplant physician associated with Cure Hematology Oncology Center. He has been associated with well-known hospitals like Sahyadri Hospitals, ESIC Model Hospitals, and Lokmanya Tilak Municipal General Hospital in the past. Welcome, Dr. Rayani, to MediCircle.
Yep, thanks, Amrita, for that kind introduction. I'm very excited to be part of this webinar, and I hope my opinion and knowledge can help patients who are suffering from hemophilia or who have hemophilia but are still not diagnosed. Yeah.
Yes, certainly. So to begin with, Dr. Rayani, what causes hemophilia?
So hemophilia by itself, it's a bleeding disorder. So in this condition, the patient's blood does not get clotted normally. So normally we expect when the patient has sustained any trauma, any injury, or any vessel cut, at that time the blood should clot normally and rapidly to prevent further bleeding. So in these patients, patients with hemophilia, so we call them PWH. It's a common acronym. So patients with hemophilia, they do not clot easily. The blood does not clot easily in patients with hemophilia, and these patients tend to bleed out more rapidly. So hemophilia is a inherited condition. It's a genetic condition, and most of the time this deficiency is passed on from mother to the baby, and it's a X-linked genetic disorder. That means chromosome X is a place where this gene is located. So naturally, male child having only single X chromosome, they are affected, and female child of affected mother, they are not affected because of presence of two X chromosome. So the normal X chromosome takes over the work, and this patient, the females, they do not suffer from deficiency. So because of this coagulation factor deficiency, the normal cascade of blood clotting, it does not happen in patients with hemophilia. And this is the reason where, how they bleed easily and more severely as compared to normal population. Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Rayani, what are the signs and symptoms of hemophilia?
So generally, whenever a child is born, so first 6 to 7 months, child is immobile. So it stays in the same place. In this situation, specific situation, the signs and symptoms are masked because to get bleeding, there has to be some trauma. So once the child starts wrangling or crawling around and bangs his or her his head or bangs his knees, then we start having this swelling and hematomas. Hematoma is a collection of blood. So in this condition, the knees will swell up, elbows may swell up, and patient may have bruises or contusions over forehead or any place over the body. And this is the common situation. Other thing is during vaccination. During vaccination, these patients do have more tendency of hematoma formation. So there may be swelling at the injection sites. So these are the initial symptoms. As the child matures and has put on weight and has gained height, the symptoms may become severe according to the severity of the hemophilia. That may we can cover later.
Okay. And what about the diagnosis? How is it diagnosed?
Yeah, so whenever patient is referred to hematologist, I think he has gone through at least 2 to 3 different specialists. So we actually start with specialized tests. So these are not recommended for all general population,
Mhm.
but whenever a patient has been suffering from bleeding disorder, and when he reaches to a hematologist, we start right away to the specialist test. So we test for clotting factor deficiency. The screening test is PT and APDT. PT is prothrombin time and APDT is activated partial thromboplastin time. So these are two tests to mimic the coagulation cascade that is happening inside the body. So by that we take blood sample of the patient, remove all the cells and take the plasma. And in this plasma, we check how rapidly it gets clotted. So by that we can know whether the patient has normal clotting tendency or whether patient has he's lagging behind as
Okay.
compared to a normal sample. So this is the screening test. Once there is a prolongation of this test, we can further check for the factor deficiency. For hemophilia A, so there are two types of hemophilia A and
Mhm.
hemophilia B. In hemophilia A, we have factor VIII deficiency. So in those patients, factor VIII level may be less than normal, that is below 50%. In vice versa, it's also true for factor IX and hemophilia B.
Okay. And what about its severity? Because the patients bleed profusely. So how
Right.
severe can hemophilia get?
Right. So there is one more test which I forgot to mention. So
Mm.
we should include. It's a genetic test. So
Okay.
nowadays it's possible to directly check for the genetic mutation that is causing these defects. So it's possible, and it gives highly accurate results. And by that we can treat the patient more efficiently, and we can prevent birth of second child with hemophilia in family and next to kins. So this is
Mhm.
one of the factor for diagnosis. Now coming to
Okay.
treatment, so coming to the next question,
Yeah.
that is, sorry.
So what are the how severe hemophilia?
Okay. So we basically divide the patients in three groups: mild hemophiliacs, moderate hemophiliacs, and severe hemophiliacs. So
Mhm.
mild patients they have factor level less than 50%, but not less than 5%. So 5 to 50 is the cutoff for mild hemophiliacs. In these patients, they may not bleed profusely in their lifetime, even with minor surgery also, like teeth removal, tooth removal, or any sutures and
Mhm.
triple trauma, they may not bleed profusely, and they themselves are not aware of the situations. So many of the time we get these patients when they are about to go for major surgery, and as a part of pre-operative workup, the
Mhm.
PT aptitude tests that I mentioned are done, and they are prolonged. So these patients are more or less asymptomatic and are diagnosed based on test reports. Coming
Okay.
to moderate hemophiliacs, they do tend to bleed excessively whenever there is excess trauma. They do
Mhm.
not bleed without trauma. So these patients are diagnosed in early teen or maybe 10 to 20 years of age,
Okay.
because of one or two episodes of excessive bleeding following trauma. So they do not bleed easily and in routine life, but whenever they have a major operation or major trauma, they will have excessive bleeding. So
Okay.
they may have to require treatment at those particular times. They do not require continuous treatment to prevent bleeding. So now
Okay.
coming to the most severe cases, so they have a factor 8 or factor 9 level of less than 1%. In those patients, they get spontaneous bleeding. That means a patient may bleed without any external or internal trauma or any other factors, any other inciting factors. So these patients will require prophylactic treatment to prevent bleedings. And the major bleeding sites are joints. They do get
Okay.
joint bleed, muscle bleed, and internal bleed, they can be very life-threatening in certain situations. If the patient has sustained accident during even road traffic accident or following any minor surgery, they may bleed excessively, and the situation can rapidly progress to life-threatening. So these
Okay.
patients require continuous factor 8 or factor 9 replacement on at least twice or thrice a week basis to sustain the level above 1%. Whenever the factor level is less than 1%, they have very severe symptoms. And
Okay.
with the time, with age, these symptoms, these deformities and symptoms, they get accumulated. So they may have joint deformities, they may have non-healing fracture of the bones, long bones. They may have continuous GI blood loss and require blood products continuously. Right.
Okay. So, thank you, doctor, for your insights on hemophilia, because it is a kind of a rare disease. It's not very often found.
Correct.
So it is very important for people to know about it. And as you said, that some people are not even aware that they suffer from hemophilia
Correct.
unless there
Correct.
is a situation like that. So it's very important for people to know about it and also for family members to know about it so that they can be of help to people in their families who are suffering from hemophilia. So thanks a lot for being a part of the MediCircle show on hemophilia. I'm sure your views are going to be very helpful to our viewers.
Yeah, I certainly hope so, sincerely. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me once again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.